So guys, I made some cookies today and I just wanted to talk very briefly about them because I'm going to insert some clips of me making them. I think you can buy really nice cookies from lots of places, bakeries and supermarkets, and they are nice. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them. I just have a wonderful recipe for cookies which I got on the internet many years ago, and it was being heralded as like a Millie's cookie. Now for those of you who know Millie's cookies, you'll understand they are glorious cookies. And the nearest Millie's cookie to me was in Bridgend, but now that has closed, so now the nearest one is in Cardiff, and I'm not driving an hour for a cookie. I would, please don't get me wrong, but I have a recipe to make them, so I don't need to. And I had a hankering for some chocolate orange cookies today, so I thought I'd make some, because you can't buy chocolate orange cookies. You know, I think that's what's quite cool about home baking. You can make things that you can't buy in shops, and I think that's quite nice. So I've made some chocolate orange cookies, and it is inspired by the recipe that I got online many years ago. I don't know who the recipe is by. It has followed me around in my recipe file for a really long time. It is very simple, very simple to make, and if you haven't baked before, might I suggest trying some cookies, because the only real way they can go wrong is you can overcook them or, you know, burn them. You haven't got to rely on them rising or falling or sinking. You just have to trust me. This recipe is really easy. So I'm going to attempt, without any prompts in front of me, any measurements, I'll put all that stuff down below. I'm going to attempt to talk you through the recipe, and hopefully there'll be some lovely music playing and there'll be clips of the cookies coming to life for you to see with my voice in the background. So yeah, basically, measure out all your ingredients first, guys. It's really important to have them all there. The butter has to be as well at room temperature. You have to cream together the butter with the two types of sugars. You have got soft light brown sugar and caster sugar. You cream them together for a few minutes in your mixer until the mixture becomes quite pale and light. Doesn't get too light and fluffy because of the brown sugar, but it does change texture from just being whipped up. Then you have to add in the zest of 1 orange, and you mix that for a minute, and what that does is it actually releases the oils of the orange zest into the butter and sugar, and it makes it just taste better, trust me. And then, this is such a simple recipe, you have an egg, which you have some vanilla extract in, and you add that to the batter, and you mix it all in, mix it all up. Make sure the egg is thoroughly combined before you add your self-raising flour, which has got a pinch of salt in it. You add that into that, and it becomes really stiff and thick quite quickly. And then you add your chocolate chips, and you just beat it briefly so that the chocolate chips get mixed throughout the batter. It's quite stiff, but it's really soft. What you do then is you have to line your baking sheets with some greaseproof paper, and you roll out little balls of cookie dough, and you space them on the pans quite far apart. I did 6 per sheet because they do spread when they're cooking, and you don't want them to touch and become one massive cookie. You could you could make one massive cookie with this recipe. I've done that before too, but today I wanted normal cookies. And then you bake them in the oven at 180 degrees for 7 minutes each. I have tried this in multiple ovens, and 7 minutes is the right amount for this recipe. What you will end up with is the outside of the cookie will be brown, kind of golden brown and becoming crisp, and the inside will be puffed up but pale. You take them out of the oven, you put them down, and you leave them on the tray for a few minutes. And what will happen in those few minutes, the cookie, the pale part in the middle that's all puffy, will sink down, and the cookie will harden slightly on the tray. Once you've left it for about 3 or 4 minutes, it will have finished sinking. You will then be able to remove it from the tray. Don't be tempted to remove it from the tray before this. It will be too soft. It's not worth it. You will ruin it. Trust me. Then you just transfer your cookies onto a wire rack to cool. but don't let them cool too much, because there are some things in life which are joyous, and a warm cookie from the oven is joyous, trust me. And that's it. You have to go on your merry way then and kind of just fill each tray and each batch at a time. I put 2 trays in the oven at a time, and this recipe gave me about 30 cookies, but of course that depends on how big you roll your balls. Yeah, and that is it, 7 minutes at a time. Trust me on that time. You might think when you're taking it out that it looks like it's not cooked enough, but the heat from the trays will continue them cooking out of the oven, and you will end up with a sort of crisp outside and a chewy middle, and that's what the best cookies should be. And then all you have to do is apply to face. And I did. And that's it. It's such an easy recipe. If you don't want to make chocolate orange ones, leave the orange zest out. Simple. If you want to use white chocolate chips instead, or dark chocolate chips instead, please do. If you want to add Cadbury's like buttons, do that, Milky Bar buttons. You can. They're only in the oven for 7 minutes, so whatever chocolate you use, yes, it will melt, but the good thing about chocolate chips is they have stabilizers in them so that they hold their shape. So that's what's good about using them. You can chop chocolate if you want to. If you want to make them double chocolate, put some cocoa powder in. I would replace probably 2 tablespoons of the flour with 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. That'll do. It's a very, very versatile recipe, and I will link it below. And yes, that's cookies. So I'm going to sign off now, and I'm going to go and eat some cookies. I've had a few already, but when you have fresh cookies in the house, how long are they supposed to last? Really? You know, how many is too many? What? I can't hear you. Sorry, how many was too many? No? Nobody? Nobody? Good. I like you guys. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.